Woohoo! I know I've got a lot of hobbies and I feel like my YouTube channel is kind of all over the place between traveling, art, and Madagascar stuff. I hope that's okay with you. Your girl has a lot of hobbies. Like and subscribe. If you have questions, put them in the comment section. This is the sketchbook we're going to look at today. I painted some eagle rays on the cover. I painted the cover. It was a tan canvas cover, painted it blue, and then I came back in. I did like Posca paint pens and white gel pen to make the eagle rays. These were some eagle rays that I saw in South Florida. I've started doing this where I put the dates on the spine of the sketchbook. It's a little bit inaccurate because I did do the finishing touches in February, but I wrote this back in October so that I would have a finished date. Like I would force myself to finish this book because I've been working on this for a little bit over a year. I use a lot of these landscape sketchbooks. So it's been a long time with this and I'm excited to get into some new sketchbooks with different shapes. Without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get started on this sketchbook. This is the opening cover of my sketchbook. It's not the first page I worked on because for me personally, I get intimidated to start on the cover page because it sets the tone for the whole sketchbook. So just to alleviate some pressure, I started on this page. We'll get back to that. This is a little sketch of my dog. She likes to be by my side all the time. She's always watching me, but she's so cute. So that's her. I tried to do the Inktober challenge. I really liked the hiking theme. These are some prompts. I think this one was like nomad, boots, backpack, which could also be like hiking too. I had a lot of fun with these. I was just looking at Pinterest for references. Oh, and then there's the sunshine on the back of the bag, which was another prompt. And I really liked the tea bag memento. Is that what the right word is? A little quote to inspire you. I really like putting those kinds of things in my sketchbook to fill it up a little bit. This is the next page. I had so much fun doing this one. It's something that I had been wanting to do for a long time. These are all 9 sifaka species. Sifacas are a species of lemur in Madagascar. All of them are endangered or critically endangered. Some of these species, there's only like 200, the silky sifaka. I put together this of all of them jumping. I wanted something active, and it was also a prompt for Lemur Conservation Network. So that's the sifaka page. Feels like forever ago now. This next page is a couple of memories and things that I have observed in Madagascar. I like to work from right to left because I'm left-handed. This is another prompt for Lemur Conservation Network. In October, it's World Lemur Month, and then the end of October is World Lemur Day. So they put together like a prompt and a theme for each week. This one is family time. I picked some red-fronted brown lemurs that I saw a lot in Ranomafana, where I used to work and live before living in Maswala in northeastern Madagascar. So this is southeastern Madagascar species. There's over 100 species of lemurs, lots of diversity. They all look very different and they're beautiful and endangered. And just the biodiversity in Madagascar is amazing. 90% of the species are endemic, found nowhere else. So I have been spending a lot of time studying them, drawing them. This is a Madagascar white eye, which is another endemic species. This is an orchid that I find in Maswala around the camp I work at a lot. This is a white-browed owl, I believe that's what it's called. This is why I write notes in my sketchbook, because very high up in the trees, didn't get a great photo or video of it, so I painted it. And that's what came out. This is a Sanford's brown lemur. I saw these in Amber Mountain in northern Madagascar on one of my trips. Made a video about this, so go check it out on YouTube, Amber Mountain. We just had a spectacular view of them, a whole family group eating figs in this tree, and I loved the redness of the fruit and their eyes. Some of their eyes were very red. Next, this is a page that is not my favorite. Also, we have a lot of whales. They come to Maswala and breed. So I started with these drawings. I was working with a couple different techniques. A challenge that I have with marine illustrations is getting the background to fit nicely with the subject matter. It's always been a challenge and I haven't mastered it yet. I don't know, I was just having fun, just trying out things. I knew I wouldn't figure it out on this painting, but I really wanted to draw whales because I'm in love with them and it's my favorite time of year when they come to Maswala. This was a fish that I saw, I think it's a queen angelfish. I see it a lot in West Palm Beach at Blue Heron Bridge. That's one of my favorite dives and snorkel spots in the Americas. This was the first time I experimented with these watercolor pencils. And I brought these with me to the rainforest in Madagascar, and I love these so much, but I would not bring these back to the rainforest because the humidity gets totally in the pencils and it's always wet. So you can see here, it's just like a very like chalky, like it looks like, I don't know, it was very wet and like very dense. So you couldn't get like the fine shading. So it's kind of messy here. And I put the little queen to remind me that it's a queen angelfish. That's this page. Not my favorite, but I appreciate it for what it is. And I brought this sketchbook with me to Florida, February 2024. I landed in Miami and I stayed with my friend Taylor, and she's a falconer. So her job, she's got a couple hawks. She goes to hotels and restaurants and they hire her to go out there with her hawk to scare away the starlings and sparrows and pigeons. I stayed with her for at least one night. I literally just drew her bird. It was really fun. And then I picked up my friend Bria and we went down and took a trip through the Florida Keys. We wanted to go scuba diving and snorkeling, but the sea conditions were really rough. But we did make it out to Dry Tortugas National Park, which is the most remote, well, it's not the most remote, but it's the least visited national park in the United States. You have to take a ferry or a private plane or a private boat to get there. And the ferry is usually, you have to book it way in advance, and it's like $100 a person. But we made it. So we like went there early in the morning. This is a whole story, but to be on the wait list, and we got on the ferry and we had a great time. And that was the first time I really saw frigate birds, the magnificent frigate birds. So I was really impressed by their huge wingspan. And I drew this on the ferry as we approached Dry Tortugas. That's the fort. And then just a couple weeks ago, I added in this sticker because it filled in the space nicely. Next, I'm still in Florida. And I went and stayed with my good friend Erica. She is a landscape designer. It's kind of hard to fit into the screen, but yeah, it's really hard to get it to focus. This is why I'm tired of these landscape sketchbooks, because if I want to do a vertical piece, it's really hard to share. But I had a lot of fun doing this piece. We went out to our favorite nature spot, Loxahatchee Wildlife Refuge, and we took our art supplies and we painted at one of our favorite spots. I saw the spoonbill in Miami at the aquarium, and then I also saw the Atala, which is an endangered butterfly species in South Florida. So I saw that in Miami too. So my sketchbook is kind of all over the place with memories. Most of this is experimenting with those watercolor pencils. After Florida, I went back to Texas for a bit. Needed to go on an artist date. An artist date is where you just take your sketchbook and the art supplies you want, you pick a spot, and you just have fun. You don't worry about the quality. I had this idea. I get these ideas when I'm in Madagascar. It marinates, and I just like really want to do it when I come back. And one of those ideas was to go to the dog park and sketch the dogs in real life. So I did that one day. It was a really nice day. I just parked at the dog park in Dallas. I just sat from my car and I like spread out my supplies and my drink and just drew the dogs. Some of them are like obviously not to scale. Each character in here is like a different thing that I noticed. It's definitely like, ugly, but I will remember this forever, and I'm so glad I worked up the courage to do it. After that, I went to California. I rented a car. I landed in San Jose and I went down to Monterey because I used to live there as well for a few years. I was just having a blast. So I went whale watching. I did a lot of painting, and this was when I went to Big Sur, this side. I was supposed to go sleep down there, but there was a storm and part of the road washed away, so it was closed. And then I went to a little spot and I've just found this spectacular view and sketched it, and it was so much fun. The energy of the water, the Pacific Ocean, I'm gonna cry thinking about how much I love it. And I made a video about my time in California as well, so you can probably find it, Monterey Bay vlog. Just go back a little bit. And I hung out with a friend, Susan. So we met up and then we went out and we painted at Lover's Point, which was really fun. So we did that as well. Everybody always asks me, who are these people? It's no one. These people are no one that I know. I just wanted to practice portraits. We all know I love animals and nature, but to practice portraits is something that is my weak point. And I just found some references off Pinterest, and I went crazy with the colors, and it was really fun to practice portraits. This is a good exercise if you're trying to loosen up. So you paint, or you like make some quick blobs on a page, and then later you come back and you try to make something out of those blobs, like little characters. It's a fun exercise. This is another Inktober prompt. I think it's like in the deep or something, or unexplored. There are like 40 new species of deep sea creatures discovered last year off the coast of Chile or Argentina. That's what that was inspired by. I also went to the Monterey Bay Aquarium and I sketched this in person. There's a leopard shark there. More practice with the watercolor pencils. This I did way later, but it's something that was on my mind a lot. This is kind of a nature journal of what I experienced on my whale watching trip. We had a spectacular time, and we got to see killer whales, orcas, hunting a minke whale in Monterey Bay. We saw the whole hunt. Very surprised. The biologists on the boat were very surprised as well. So they've only seen 3 minke whale hunts in the past 30 years. It was very exciting to be part of that. What I love about the whale watching trips is I always learn something new, and I always see something new. And I didn't realize that the albatrosses that follow the orcas, they can smell the blubber. I really enjoyed watching the albatrosses as well as the killer whales. This was probably the best wildlife sighting of my life. Highly recommend Monterey Bay whale watching. Ooh, I did this for my birthday. This was like a little birthday sketch. These are terns, so we see a lot of these in Maswala. Oh, there's a helicopter. Just passing the time. It was like a rainy birthday. I just spent the time with my dog. This, I just painted some swatches of leftover color and then later came back in. And these are some tigers that I saw at the San Diego Zoo. Just did some nice line work. It was 2 brothers. They look like they're pissed at each other, but they're just like really talkative, chit-chatty kitties. This was another Inktober prompt. It's aight. Whatever. It's a filler piece. I added in the coyote last minute. All right, so here's another page. I was doing some lemur behavior studies. I witnessed ringtail lemurs doing a stink fight. So they have glands in their wrists and their necks, and they rub their tails, and then they like waft their tails at each other. And it's like a dominance and mating hierarchy primate thing. I don't know how to explain that right now. I was just trying to do some simple watercolors. I really am into doing like quick drawings, but getting the point across of like what I'm trying to say. I also, when I came back to the United States, I invested in this stamp set. So I am in love. It's so nice to add it into the sketchbooks. Like, it's a lot of work and time consuming, but it's really fun. I saw these lemurs in Ishali National Park. This is some stuff that I did at Tsingy de Behemara. God, I cannot say that name. I went to Tsingy National Park, and I have been dreaming to go there for years. And it just never worked out because it's kind of an expensive place to get to. Also, there are closures and there's like security issues. So you can only go certain times of year, but I made it work this past year and I went in June, and the Tsingy rock formations are just incredible. I love drawing them. I went specifically to see this species of sifaka, the Deccan sifaka. This is just a little portrait. That was an amazing experience. I really enjoyed making that. This is another page that I wish I put more time into, but it's okay. These are some bird sketches. This is an aracari, and this is a blue vanga. I could go back in and finish it later, but we'll see. And then this is a blue kua feather that I have in my room. Sometimes you find them on the trails. This is pretty much the actual size. They're big bluebirds, and I love them. They're one of my favorite birds in Madagascar. And then this was another Inktober prompt. This is just so cute. Look at this little mouse lemur portrait. They are so funny. At certain times of the year, the trees have a lot of flowers, and when you see them, and they've got like these big chunky cheeks with pollen all over it, so I illustrated that. And then there's a lot of pandanus plants, and the lemurs like to eat them, the white-fronted brown lemurs. So sometimes we see them around. They're trying to carry them up the tree, and it's really heavy, so sometimes they drop it and stumble around. This is a spread that I focused solely on those Inktober prompts. Guidebook, binoculars, hiking, trekking. This is striped skunk or spotted skunk? And then this is a ocelot cub, I believe. I was starting to think about Central America and visiting, but I wanted to just do like a cat portrait because it's been a long time since I did one. So this is another mouse lemur watercolor portrait. I drew this, another prompt for family. That's a diadem sifaka with little offspring. And to fill in this empty space, I just put this little note in there. Another Inktober spread. Yo, some of the pages are getting dirty. More Inktober prompts, getting more confident with people. This is a technique called stippling, and I really enjoy it. It's meditative, but sometimes I lose my patience, but I really like the style of stippling. Violin was one, compass was another, passport, trying to be a little bit conceptual here. Ooh. Ooh. This is the page that makes me cringe, actually. Another Inktober prompt was jumbo, and the first thing I thought of was whale, so I wanted to cover a whole page with a whale. This is a sperm whale, and then I was experimenting with, I was actually swatching my acrylic paints that I brought out there just to see what colors I have and record them, so if I decide to buy any paints and bring them back with me, I know what colors I have there and then what I need to bring. So that's what this is. Like, the colors are just swatches and like leftover paint that I didn't want to waste. And then I covered this because like this whole spread was just driving me crazy. This is my attempt to just make it more interesting or something. Whatever. Oh, this is a fun one. This was my very first Art Safari speed sketching. It's a Zoom class, so like an online art community. At least 60 people show up every week. These two women host it. Every week is a different theme, and we explore something in nature. Usually it's animals, but for this one it was oak trees, which is a bit of a challenge for me. Trees and plants are fun, but they're hard for me. I kind of started right to left working with the reference photos that they were providing, and it was a great way to loosen up and to fill a spread. And I was using my watercolor pencils and my watercolors and a mixture of Tombow pens. Everything on here, like these leaves, the trees, this, that, all the animals, you only have like a minute, 2 minutes, and 5 minutes is like the longest that they will spend on an image or a series of images. So you have to work really fast and just like forget about making mistakes. You just draw. This was another spread. I thought I would fill up the whole thing with insects that I find around Maswala. Never happened, but I did get these two in. This was a wasp moth mimic. So it's a moth, but it looks like a wasp. It's very beautiful. There's a moth that I found in my room. My windows are open all the time, so when the light's on, and depending on the time of year, I'll get all sorts of insects in my room. I'm not worried about it, but it's actually fascinating to me, like what's gonna be, you know, what's in my bathroom today, or, you know, really pretty moths and butterflies sometimes. Just wanted to quickly fill this spread. It's just a blank spread, so I had some collage papers and I burned the edges to make it not, I don't like the harsh edges, so I burned. And then this was another quick drawing I made for an animation. Literally took me 5 minutes, so it's a little bit wonky, but it's got character. Ooh, this was a fun one. In December, I got a little bit of vacation time. The lodge I work out, they have a property at the very southern point of the Maswala Peninsula. It's very remote. It's such a beautiful place. Like you're on a cliff kind of, and you've got a lagoon on both sides. You can snorkel, you can kayak, mangrove rivers. We did a lot of kayaking. I went with a guide. So I brought my paints and my art supplies. We spent like 3 days there, 3 or 4 days. And I did some acrylic painting down there. This is a little map. I was really excited because I saw some white-faced whistling duck, so I drew them. We went kayaking on this trail. We explored both rivers and we saw a lot. We saw this white-throated rail, a lot of herons and egrets. It was really beautiful. And then on the way back, we saw some fishermen. There was like blood everywhere, and I was like, what's going on? And I was really scared it was a dolphin, but they had caught some sharks, and they were big sharks. There were 3 big sharks. It was sunshiny and rainy some days. So on the rainy day, there was a mantella frog on the steps of the cabin where I was staying. So I drew him. Snorkeling, we saw a baby squid. It was literally like that big. It was so cute. And then we also saw this beautiful, beautiful grouper. I think it's a grouper, but it looked like the night sky. Very black, like blacker than what I drew. White spots, like varying sizes. So this next spread is when I went to Belize with my mom in January. This is me sketching the airport. before. I did this real quick. I used this little palette that she gave me, the world's tiniest palette. It's not like the best. It's really not the best quality watercolor, but it was nice to play with that. Definitely had to draw some howler monkeys. We had them like right above the hotel, the room we were staying at, because we're in the forest. We're at Copple Tree Lodge. We went kayaking and I saw the morpho butterfly. We saw so many birds. I lost track of how many birds that we saw. Of course, seeing the toucans are always amazing. I brought this olive green ink pen that I got in Japan with me on this trip, and then this is me kind of experimenting with it. You can spread it out with water. This is another classic tool that I bring with me everywhere, a water brush pen. That's the start of my Belize trip. This is another spread as we moved on to the next place. When we went kayaking, we saw these really cool bats hanging on the bottom of a tree, and we didn't see them there until they started flying all around us. It wasn't scary. It was like being surrounded by fairies. And I think that they're called proboscis bats, but I could be wrong. This was, I believe it's a ghost anole, catching moths under the light at our lodge. And then we heard this short-billed pigeon a lot, and it really sounded like it was saying, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" Every time we heard it, we would like look at each other and go, "What the fuck?" I had to draw that. We saw a lot of Mayan sculptures, and we went to a Mayan ruin site. And when I was getting scuba certified, we went out to Half Moon Key. We went and checked out the rookery. There's a really beautiful rookery there with tons of frigate birds. And then there were also some red-footed boobies nesting there. So wanted to draw the face. I didn't realize how beautiful their faces were until I went and visited. This is another painting from scuba diving. I wanted to draw some of the animals that I saw. We also saw the octopus and a lot of sharks. They threw me in with the sharks. I really loved these sea stars or starfish. Did see a tiny little seahorse. So this is larger than life, very impressionistic painting. Nobody got good pictures of it or anything. And I saw this giant moray eel, huge, the biggest one I've ever seen. And then a lot of beautiful wrasse and this beautiful parrotfish. I didn't finish it. I just kind of like wanted to get the colors of the head. This I did on the plane back from Belize to Dallas. I lost some supplies down the seat, which turned into like a whole stress. And I was like, oh, these are some Trogon studies. These are 3 species that we saw while we were birding. I should add some color to it, but maybe I'll just let it be. And I need to add the species before I forget. This was Black Hawk Eagle. We went to the Belize Raptor Center where they rescue and rehabilitate wildlife. They also do ambassador programs. And this was by far this was the coolest bird I have seen. And this is some more filler stuff that I just like, I gotta finish my sketchbook. Could use some color. I found this white collared mannequin on my own, so I was really proud of it. It was beautiful, bright yellow, and it was hanging on the Alincionia flowers. I saw a lot of kingfishers and butterflies. And this was a bird that we saw in San Ignacio. Very beautiful. I should add color to these before I really close this sketchbook for good. This was another speed sketching session. I was really excited to get back into it. I did a limited color palette. Can you guess the theme? It was dogs. So I just picked the red art supplies that I had from my Japan trip and then added in these little stars at the end. I had a lot of fun with these expressions and getting loose. Again, working from right to left. This was a continuation of that speed sketching session. I got so much done in that time. Love this sketch so much. And then this was the last page, and I did this, added in some stamps to say the end. This is the back pocket. It's got a drawing my mom did while we were in Belize. She did that on a napkin. I'm keeping it forever. Some collage stuff, and then a family portrait from the 90s that I just want to keep. That's it. That's my sketchbook tour. Hope you liked it. I hope it was interesting. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Like and subscribe. I will be posting more art stuff this year. I'll be posting some traveling stuff and of course more Madagascar content. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks guys, if you made it this far. Thank you so much for watching. I gotta go. It's time, I have a lunch date with my grandparents. See ya.